up for Bryce Sandler, everybody. Let's go. Hello, everybody. So this story is also about a Dodge Omni, which seems to be the car of choice tonight. So it was a 1990 Dodge Omni. Not unlike one of the first speakers, it also had the crushed blue velour interior. Very popular in the late 80s, early 90s. So I got this car as a freshman in college as a gift from my father. And it's a great guy, now deceased, my best friend, great guy. And he thought that car would not only provide years of reliable transportation, but more importantly, as a freshman at Michigan State, it would get me laid. And there were a lot of cars available on the market in 1990. Not just the Dodge Omni with a blue crushed velour interior, but that was the one that my dad chose to purchase for me, which I was very appreciative for. And not only did he get me that car, he got the matching, I don't know where he got it, they might have been like specially made for the vehicle, but the matching blue velour towels that you put on the front seats and the back seats, so that after years of ownership, the interior looked exactly like the day you drove it out of the showroom. So anyway, I drove this car throughout college at Michigan State and what have you, and then after college I graduated, and I was driving quite a bit because I was living in Royal Oak, working in Lansing. And he got the 770 warranty. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was like the big thing in 1990 at Chrysler, 770 warranty. So I was very close to 70,000 miles, and I was stuck on 696 one day, and just kind of like bored and in a traffic jam, so I started tapping the dashboard. And I noticed the speedometer, the little numbers on the speedometer that told you how many miles you had in the vehicle, kind of started moving around when you tapped it. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I tapped a little harder, I banged on it, and the last mile digit started rolling backwards. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I tapped a little harder, and it went back an entire mile. So suddenly I had a little light bulb over my head. I'm like, wow, you know, if I could figure out how to not turn back the last mile, but the first mile, which is a big number, this car could be warranted for the rest of my life. So I'm Jewish, and so as a Jew I can conceive and have an idea, but if it requires tools, I need to call a Gentile friend. So I did. And so, you know, I said, hey, you know, there's something wrong with my car. Can you maybe come over and bring your toolbox that you inherited from your great-grandfather? So this is, you know, it's very... I'll bring my tools over immediately. We're more than excited. So he comes over and he goes, what's wrong with the car? I'm like, I don't know if it's really something wrong with the car, but it has like 6,000 to 8,000 miles. I'm going to own it for a long time. And so I just wanted to have like 28,000 miles. And he's like, I can't be any part of this. This is illegal. And I'm like, maybe not, gray area. So he wouldn't do it. So I said, I'll tell you what, let me suggest this. You leave the tools here, but then I'll return them, but you don't want to be any part of this. And he said, okay, that's fine. So I called another friend of mine, Rob Cohen, a fellow Jew, and he said, that's a great idea. How did he do it? And I said, well, the good news is I called a Gentile friend of mine. I have the tools, Rob, but he had a moral crisis with this entire concept. So we are on our own. And so Rob is the most self-confident guy in the world. He said, not a problem, we'll do it. He goes, how hard can this be? It's a car. I'm like, exactly. So I rode over to his house in Southfield. We pulled in his garage because, of course, if we were working on a car in his driveway, everybody would know we're rolling back the odometer. So this was a Sunday morning, and we blocked off the entire day. No lox and bagels that day. You know, no dinner with the relatives that night because we were on a mission. So we looked at it and we figured out it was not a particularly advanced car, as you know, as a former Omni owner. So it had a couple screws. So I pulled out a screwdriver and the thing wouldn't work. And Rob says to me, what's a Phillips head? I said to him, what the hell is a Phillips head? So he said, well, I don't know, but it's another kind of screwdriver. So it took us like a half hour, we found a different screwdriver, we finally got that off. And we decided that, you know, you should put every part in line that you take off, so when you have to reassemble it, you at least have the order. So we took off the first, like, you know, plastic thing, and we put it down, And we took off the next thing. So we, you know, after like an hour, we literally had like 12 parts, but we still didn't get to the little number part. So Rob's dad, Eddie Cohn, comes out in the garage. We were at his parents' house. And Eddie Cohn was kind of like a Jewish Archie Bunker. You guys remember All in the Family? So Eddie comes out, he says, I'll make this short, he goes, "What the hell are you guys doing?" So we're turning back the speedometer, so he goes, "That's completely illegal. And if I witness this, I'm going to be party to a crime. So I'm going in the house, and I'm never coming out in the garage until you guys are done." So we eventually, the good news is for us, to the extent breaking the law is good news, we eventually turned it back, but we turned it back to 8,000 miles. Because apparently the first and second number rolled back simultaneously. So we rolled it back, we put everything together, it looked like brand new. But then, 2 days later, the radiator blows. I take it in for a warranty. The car is 7 years old, 8,000 miles, with a blown radiator. And that took every Yiddish bit of sense I had to convince the guy that, yeah, actually, I don't know what happened. It's been 7 years and the radiator blows after 8,000 miles. And that is my Dodge Omni car story. Bryce Sandler, everybody, give him a round of applause. He's a little crooked, but he's a nice guy.